Reactive training systems.
At some point, you're going to experience situations, and very often you're going to experience situations when you're working with lifters or for yourself, where you've never experienced the situation before, and you won't really know exactly what tool you want to use. But the idea is if you can build your toolkit big enough, you can try out different tools that might do the job for solve the problem. And this has probably been the most helpful thing for me, and one of the reasons why I'm working with a team, because there are so many more tools that you have at your disposal when you're working with other people, whether you're just talking with other people or they've actually invented something or created had an idea and they've tested it for themselves, that you can kind of utilize and try out for yourself or for your lifters. But the first major tool that I've always understood on a more philosophical level is auto-regulation. And the idea about auto-regulation is that, how many of you guys have heard of it? Pretty much everyone? Okay, cool. Just briefly, it basically allows you to adjust to the chaos that life brings. And some days are gonna go well. You know, you were talking about how when you're feeling really good mentally, training doesn't necessarily go as expected. So auto-regulation is one of the ways where you can make sure that training goes as needed for the day to get the result that you're after. So if that is going into the gym and pushing yourself at X intensity, auto-regulation is the idea that that's all that matters in terms of you're regulating to whether it's your psychological stressors, your internal stressors, your external stressors, whatever it is that's impacting your training. If you understand that auto-regulation is that it's okay to adjust, it's okay to modify what you're doing to the day's stressors, that you can actually go home feeling satisfied somewhat. Now, complete auto-regulation, changing everything in your training given how you feel, or you just don't want to do an exercise one day, or something's just changing everything all the time. That's not really the idea, because you still want to have the intent of accomplishing something. So don't confuse this with making training easier. It's about making training as effective as it is needed for the day and putting your best effort or the intended effort into each training session. One of the great things if you're coaching and you apply auto-regulation is that it allows for more agency to the lifter, meaning they feel like they have some more control over their own training instead of, hey, my coach told me to squat 400 pounds today, I didn't do it, and now I'm a failure. And then if you can create some more self-control with the lifters, typically adherence increases, they feel better overall, they can adjust mentally what they're comfortable with, because as long as they put in the effort required, the weight on the bar doesn't necessarily matter for that day. The point again is to do what is necessary for a positive response, and this is going to change over time for the individual. I've been reading a lot, or listening to a lot of videos on like TED Talks on personality, and they talk about how you are not you plus your experiences. You are your experiences. So if you have a watch, your watch isn't just a watch plus a strap or plus a bunch of gears and ticks and dials. Like the watch is all of those things. So just like in that context, you are all of your experiences. So as your experiences change over time and you experience new things in the gym, you learn more things about what exercises you respond to or the life experiences. You have someone that passes away in your family and that's a big stressor and you have to adapt to that, and that stress is pretty high and now you can't train 7 times a week. Those are all things that make you who you are, and your training should be complementing who you are and not trying to force you into a funnel that at the end of the day isn't going to bring you anywhere.
Reactive training systems.